Let's get back to another round of Brewsday Tuesday with DreZ and Big Nate.
Maybe I should have already taken the foil off of mine. Oh, there it goes. Wait for it. Wait for it. There's the sound. Brewsday Tuesday brought to you by the Cellar Restaurant and Six Pack Store in downtown Blacksburg. We are in studio BB with my BB. Hey, how's it going?
It's good, but I just want to apologize for how greedy my husband is. Like, look at our tiny little petite Scotch bottles, and he pulls out this behemoth liter.
I just thought he had really tiny hands. I'd never really paid attention.
Sharing is caring. You all will get a taste, but don't be super jelly of my.
So wait, can we each get a third of that?
Yes.
All right, we'll fine, man.
We'll probably pour it. I just opened up the Glendronach. 15 years. This is the revival, which frankly, I don't know. Maybe I should have actually let you all, one of you guys, have this one, because I've actually tasted it before. I actually went to Glendronach with Hank, BB's dad, was kind enough to drive me out there on a nice little Gallivant day. We went and also toured a prison, the Petershead prison. That had a big riot back in the 80s, and learned all about that and stuff. It was pretty cool.
So the prison's now defunct?
Yeah, it went.
You're not in there like touring with random like.
No, wouldn't that be something? It was there up until the 90s. It was a functioning prison, and then they opened up another one in Petershead. But yeah, and then we went to Glendronach and got there just in time. Was it Christmas Eve or day before Christmas Eve?
23rd, yeah.
So it was pretty quiet, and we were like, "Oh man, seriously, I didn't think they were open," because we went to tour the lighthouse and they weren't open. But we were the only car in the parking lot. I'm like, "Oh boy!" But sure enough, there was a couple people in there, and they just gave us the roll treatment. Let me taste like the normal tasting setup, then also let me taste like the cast one and all this stuff. But to me, this was the winner, the 15-year. Oh man, it was delicious. So I'll just pour a little bit of this in my Glendronach glass, which this is. Actually, they write it at the bottom. This is the proper glass to drink whiskey out of. The Glencoe glass, right? Is that right? You got the Scotch notes over there, right? Is that? Right.
I didn't take a note on that.
Okay, well, I think this is the right glass. So there you go. We'll give this a little taste, and yes, I will share. You're not going to get all my bottle, but it is.
He will give us a little bit.
I'll give you a little taste.
A wee dram.
And I'm glad to hear that they were treating you so well. But I must admit, Scottish people love Americans. Whenever we hear an American accent, we're just all over that. I remember last year when you were there, DreZ, you got accosted by two middle-aged women.
Yeah, that was the first day, like the first time out. We went to go see Slane's Castle. And did they ask me to take their picture, or were we asking to take our picture? I can't remember.
Yeah, they were taking our picture.
Yeah, and they were just like, "Oh, where are you from?" and it was funny because usually she's the one with the accent. I'm used to hearing that. I was like, "Oh, I'm from Virginia." They're like, "Oh, is that where the cowboys are?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, they are." But yeah, it was fun. But really, I think what it is it's the tipping thing. Because we tip, and over there you don't really tip. Everything's included in the price. So if you got American accent, they'll probably give you a little extra better service because
they're gonna get that tip.
Yeah, they'll get a tip, and well deserved.
Well, I mean, as long as it's not offensive,
they go above and beyond.
That would be my concern. Is like I know there are places where like tipping is actually considered offensive. So
no.
Where's that?
It's not offensive.
Well, not Scotland. I can't remember. I was reading somewhere. It was a Middle Eastern country. But tipping's like considered insulting.
So
well, there's also like I mean, around the world there's loads of different things that are rude and not like. I think in Japan, if you don't burp during your meal, then that is rude because it's like you haven't enjoyed the food. I know
that would be considered rude here.
Exactly.
Real quick before we derail and go further away from it, we played Bell Tower from it was Jerry Cinnamon. And did you check? You texted your friend Alice, who was with us with Earth Castle. we heard the song. We went to a convenience store and it was playing. We're like, oh, this song's hilarious. She's like, oh, this was actually my wedding song. So did she get back to you and explain what Beltar is?
Yeah, so big shout out to my lovely friend Alice in Scotland, who is the original belter. And it's basically just a woman who, you have a total crush on, is completely out of your league, and is like, is what you're aiming for in life.
See,
So
I'm glad to hear that, because once I started to
Makes sense
listen,
being a wedding song.
once I listened to it this time, it made more sense that it's that, and it was her wedding song.
Yeah.
When I heard it in the store, I thought it was like a like a joke, like almost just like she's a belter, like
dismissive.
yeah, like it was like a negative thing. But
No,
now I like that song even more. It's good.
So now, if you want to pay me a compliment, babe,
BB the belter.
I'm gonna learn to say it properly. Belter. Belter.
In the song, it says it's more like
Belter.
That's the accent, Drez.
belter. Belter.
ER.
Belter. All right, we haven't even got to what y'all are drinking. We're derailing
So,
quickly here.
I'll jump in for Nate, because this one has
As I heard,
obviously you've got your special whiskey, but I wanted to give Nate probably the most special whiskey in this pack, which is from the Isle of Islay. The Isle of Islay.
Oh, there we go.
Even I struggle to say it. So it's a very small island off the west coast of Scotland, and that's where all your really well-known whiskies come out of. Like, I'm talking Ardbeg, Bowmore, Collia, Lafroy. These are your very expensive whiskies that are popular all over the world.
You better not have done more than a third pour in that glass, Nate.
I was cautious. I always try and be cautious.
That's fair. That's fair. So
Yeah.
so this is the good stuff, huh?
So I think from my travels around the world, like when I speak to people about whiskey often, because it's a big thing everywhere. Like, people know it everywhere, and often these island whiskies are brought up because they have such a distinct peaty and smoky taste, which really, it's on the nose. It's when you drink it, like, and as I said, people pay big money for these whiskies. And I think I don't know how many distilleries are there now, but it's still a very popular place to distill. And if you're ever wanting to go to Scotland specifically to do a whiskey tour, like, this is definitely a place that you want to hit, because not only is it going to be beautiful, it's an island, so if they're going to travel over water to get there, there's going to be nature and and great scenery, but the whiskey is going to be out of this world.
And if you had to recommend when to go travel to Scotland to do a whiskey tour,
there's probably about 1 week a year that you might get good with.
and it's in July, right? Isn't that when you want to go? Probably like summertime.
I always advise people summertime, June, July, August, September is when you're going to have the best chance of good weather. But honestly, every American that I've ever talked to about going to Scotland has said that the weather for them was great. So I just think you all have
We're all golden.
You all have the luck at the sunlight.
We're easy to please. I mean, does it snow a lot there?
No, it doesn't know. No,
then most of us are fine.
Yeah, you'll be good. What do you got, babe?
So I have the whiskey from Berry Brothers and Rudd, and that's from the Speyside area, which is closest to my hometown. So I thought I'd grab that. And Speyside whiskeys are rich and textured, a little bit smoky and complex. So I'm gonna say it still smells pretty good. I think it smells quite sweet. So I'm enjoying the smell, and taste is pretty good as well.
So we talked about Earth Castle. I talked about my prison tour and day out with Hank. What else do we do in Scotland that should be worth mentioning that we need to address on the air?
And you became a lord.
Oh, I'm a
well,
lord.
that-
That was pretty sweet.
Can't forget that.
Your mom's beef Wellington. Does that need to get mentioned again?
Beef Wellington always needs to be mentioned.
Yes,
Oh.
Mom's beef Wellington is, I don't think I'm ever going to live up to it. I may as well just give up and never make it.
Well,
ever again.
no. I wouldn't suggest that.
Reps. It's all about reps.
But no, it was good. We had a good Christmas, and New Year's was fantastic. It was a good trip all around.
Yeah, there was lots of family time.
Well, we went to Edinburgh.
Yes, that was another thing I was going to bring up. So we went to Edinburgh to stay with one of my girlfriends, Rosie, who I had met in Bermuda. She moved back to Edinburgh maybe about a year ago. And doing so well there. She's got herself a lovely apartment just in the middle of town. It's like this old building with high ceilings and
It was
superbly
a nice,
decorated.
no, flat.
A
It's a
flat.
flat. And yeah,
Is that
walking
the same thing?
distance to everywhere. We got to
Yeah.
walk, and basically we kind of did a little bar crawl essentially, or pub crawl, should say.
Well, we started off being, cultural and walking to like a scenic viewpoint with historical buildings. And then
for
we
about
just
10 minutes, and then we went to go get a beer.
Let's go get a drink.
Well, and because we were in Scotland, we went to the Edinburgh Brewdog, because
Yeah.
that's what, Brewdog originated in Scotland. Of course, that's not the original one. It's just sort of an offshoot. They call it the Dog House. But we went there, and then we did the proper tour. Then we started going to actual pubs. The one that I wanted to go to that we didn't hit last time we were in Edinburgh. Do you know a pub in Edinburgh? Any pub in Edinburgh? If there was one you would know, it would be, they made a movie. It was a big part of a movie. The World's End. Ever heard of that? You remember that with the guys? Was it
Oh my
Simon
gosh.
and
Simon
Yes, but
Pegg.
now I'm trying to remember. It's where they've got to get back to, and
so
I'm
it's
blanking.
it's apparently like
the Winchester.
it was like the Golden Mile or whatever, and it was the final, basically, of a big pub crawl. And then, of course, the whole movie, they're actually trying to save the world and all that jazz. But I got to go to the World's End. Been serving pints for that one opened up in the 1700s, right?
Yeah, and it was right on. The reason it was called the World's End was because it was right on the city limits.
Yeah.
Like literally, like the city walls were part of that pub. So to the Edinburgh people, that was the World's End.
So we went there. That was the first cool pub we went to, and then Rosie took us to
Deacon Brody's.
Deacon Brody's. Which, do you know about Deacon
I
Brody?
do not.
Have you heard of Jekyll and Hyde?
Yes.
That's Deacon Brody. The whole story of Jekyll and Hyde was based on Deacon Brody, who was this like a nobleman who was, on the council or whatever, like well-known, richer guy. But by night, he actually went out and robbed people and stuff. So it was that's what the base of the Jekyll and Hyde is. So Deacon Brody's, we went there, and it was unlike the other pubs that we went to, because the World's End and the one that we closed on, very small, like itty bitty bar, like no more than 50 people probably. I don't know if they have the same sort of, fire codes and stuff, but must have been very small. But that one was large. It had 2 floors, big
Yeah.
restaurant up top. So Deacon Brody's was cool. And then we went and got some Pakistani dish or whatever.
An Afghan. Yeah, I said to Rosie, I was like,
Afghan, yeah.
I fancy a curry. And she went really out there and took me for the most original curry I've ever had. It was Afghanistani and Pakistani.
It was
curry.
delicious though. So
It was
here's the
good.
thing. So in Scotland, curries are huge. That's like
Yeah.
the big food over there. There's not really, you got haggis, but
It's haggis and then curry. And a lot of the Western curries that, people know, like kurma or jalfrezi or masala, they were actually invented in Britain, not in India at all. They're like Westernized curries for our palates.
damn right.
Kind of like how Chinese food doesn't taste like at all.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
good.
Probably. I
They're
guess there's
yeah.
We like to do that. We truly are a melting pot.
so that was delicious. And then we went to the oldest pub in Edinburgh, which has been open and serving pints for over 500 years. It was called the
White Hart.
The White Hart. And we went in, there was actually live music. And I was about to mention this because you said, I can't remember earlier on the first round, you said something about Oasis, but there was a guy playing something. He did play Oasis. He played a little bit of everything, man. He
Played Delilah by Tom Jones. And
Yeah.
he had a little ukulele.
He had a ukulele and did the a wingo up in the jungle. He played all sorts of stuff. And it was a lot of fun. And that was a cool pub. It's been serving ales, and Oliver Cromwell apparently drank there. And who was that big poet?
And Robbie Burns.
Robbie Burns
Mhm.
apparently frequented it. So you don't know him. I don't know him either, but it's a big deal in Scotland
you-
at least.
Like Auld Lang Syne and all those big like Scottish things. I think they're all kind of based on Robbie Burns.
Is that right?
poems.
Interesting.
Old Lang Syne, which we did do at New Year's, which was weird for me because it's a little tainted because of UVA. But it was an interesting way to ring in the new year, no doubt about it, over there in Scotland. It was a lot of fun. It was good. How's your is it gone?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real honest with you. When upon opening it, I immediately got like peatiness. Like you said.
You got the peaty. That's
Like,
the peaty one.
Yeah. It's I mean, I can still there's just residual in the glass, but can still smell it, and it's just absolutely delicious. I really kind of feel like that was an experience. Of course, it's the Aerolite Lindsay 10-year-old, the character of Islay Whiskey Company, and you're gonna call yourself the character of Islay. Then
Yeah,
you got to bring the big guns, and I think they definitely did.
This is interesting. I'm just now looking at my bottle for the first time. I didn't even open it when I was over there. Oh, see, it even says for the UK market. Bam, it's got the stamp. So maybe this is a common thing, but just like our tasting notes, it has on the back, it says it has the color, the nose, the taste, and the finish of what you can expect from this 15-year Glendronach revival. Matured in the finest Pedro. Oh, this is a word. Ximenez. Anybody?
Nope.
Is that some kind of like
I mean,
South American thing?
I know,
Like,
and
It's what
it says that,
sounds like.
Pedro
and-
Zamani?
and then it says and Orloso sherry cask from Spain. So I don't know if
Oh,
the first
So
Spain.
I mean, right
Pedro
there,
says Spain,
South
Spanish.
America,
It was
Spain.
close. It was close.
But this is a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. We didn't even delve into the whole single malt blend and all that, I guess, but delicious. Like I said, I've already had it before.
You liked it enough to bring it back.
I liked it enough to buy a bottle of it that, I mean, I don't know what the ratio is, but if I had to convert, this is one of the more expensive bottles I've ever bought in my life, frankly.
And that's probably another reason why they're so keen to get you in for the tasting, because after you've had 5 tastings, you're going to be far more pliable.
Well, honestly, I almost bought
upsell.
you would think I would have got the cask, because not only is it a higher ABV because it's cask strength, but I could have filled the bottle right then and there. Like they had the barrel and you just open it and then they cap it and whatever, which is good gimmick, but it was probably I like this one better, and to me it wasn't worth paying that much more just to be able to fill up the bottle. That being said, man, this is just delicious.
about
I can't wait. I
refills?
can't wait for you guys to try it. This one is a 5 in my book. Frankly, I do want a drop of water or two to put in it, as I suggest maybe you guys do as well. But it has such good nose. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. I'll do it in a second. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it, almost like some honey notes or something. It's not not super peaty or anything. This is the Highlands one, so it's definitely not the peaty, smoky stuff, which I do like.
Fruity,
but
sweet,
this
and
is
spicy.
to me, this was just the standout of the bunch of the distillery that we went to, and I had to get a bottle. So this is my 5, and then you have the one I'm really looking forward to trying, BB.
Yeah, the Speyside one. As I said, I really like the smell of it again. It's kind of sweet and it goes down easy, which is,
We call that the nose.
oh sorry, a sweet nose. And it goes down easy, which is what I like for it. Like I don't like the really harsh any alcohol. I don't like it to be really harsh. So I think you're gonna enjoy this one when you try it.
You got a rating for it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
Oh, so slightly better. She's a harsher
Yeah.
rater than us, I would say.
Well, I actually have to modify mine on the Glencairn. I will bump that up to 4.75, but the Aerolite Lindsay, or is it Lindsay? Because I know A's are pronounced differently, but I'm gonna go ahead.
Lindsay
Lin-
sounds too
Yeah, it
Lindsay.
sounds
forward for Scotch.
Lindsay. We'll go with
Lindsay
Aerolite
sounds
Lindsay.
more Scotch.
It that's a 5.
You like? Oh, you bought. Oh, I was
It
gonna say,
smells
man,
and
you didn't-
tastes so good.
You hadn't had this
Yeah,
one
I'm
yet.
we'll see.
We'll give you a taste of the Glendronach here in just a minute. BB, thank you so much for coming in and telling a little bit more and schooling the folks on the Scotch And of course, also for bringing me over there and showing me a good time. It was awesome.
And just a big shout out to my mum and dad who made our trip oh so special, especially my dad, taking you out when I was working.
Yeah, me and Hank went on a few different little runs, and we went and got sausage rolls just about every morning, and black pudding. Have you messed with black pudding?
No,
Nate?
I've never
No?
heard of black pudding.
Oh,
We
need
got
to-
haggis, you got black pudding. This is breakfast.
Is black
This
pudding
breakfast.
like blood pudding?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fantastic. You do that. So, by the way,
I'll take your words.
Scottish breakfast over there, which I had a lot of because I love it, and it was fantastic, especially the ones at home that your mom made. Sausage. They do bacon. What's it called?
A rasher?
Rashers. Yep.
Yeah.
I did know that.
Beans, baked beans. You got some mushrooms, and then you got to have a little haggis and a little black pudding, and all is right with the day after that. No doubt about it, man. I love it. I miss it, and can't wait to get back for more. That's a wrap on Brewsday Tuesday. BB, thank you so much for coming in and sharing.
Thanks, guys.
Next week we'll get back to beers because that's what we usually do here on the NRV's Rock Station 105.3 The Bear. Brewsday Tuesday. Oh, see you.